as we bring in 55.
That's a lot of Purdue.
All right. Lance.
Yes.
They beat the Packers, Lance.
We sure did. We sure did. Bears beat the Packers. And the one thing that, Carm, one thing that stands out to me is listen, look at the potential in the two-back situation with DeAndre Swift and another power back. I'm telling you right now, we can win like that now.
Yeah.
We can win like that. DeAndre Swift was involved in at least 4 to 5 first downs today. He extended drives on plays. Now, he had about 65 yards. He had 20 carries, which means that we committed to running the ball. But he is not just a runner. He's a guy that can be used in a lot of different ways. And so I did hear a few comments earlier.
So you're a Swiftie. You're a Swiftie.
I see. So sometimes you got to realize what you have in the hand.
Okay.
Because when you have in the hand, when you don't realize what you have in the hand, you let go of David Montgomery. Okay. Then you don't realize the skills. Like, I recognize the skill set. One of the players that was really he was the player that people say, like, who are you? Did you ever fear anybody, or were you ever afraid to go against anybody? No, I was never afraid to hit anybody. I was never afraid to hit anybody. But the player that caused me probably the most worry was Percy Harvin.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Minnesota, yeah.
And the reason why Percy Harvin was a real worry for me is that when he lined up as a running back, he ran in between the tackles better than most running backs. Yeah. Okay? As a receiver, he ran a middle screen, and I'm telling you, he beat the angles of at least 5 of us. He ate up an angle, and I was like, whoa, this guy's fast. You could put him back at kickoff returner, and he's a threat, one of the best kick returners.
Yep.
He's a problem no matter where he lines up. So when he lines up in the running back, you have to know, okay, what personnel do we need to have here? Because what they're going to do is they're going to get a mismatch, and they're going to move him out. They're going to get a mismatch right now with a linebacker. He's a mismatch. So there's so many things that you can do with him. And with him, just him being in the game, you have to change your rules. You now have to change your rules. So when I look at DeAndre Swift, there's a real skill set that he has that can force teams to change their rules. Now, everybody plays more of a nickel-style defense now anyway, but it still can create – you can create a one-on-one with him and a linebacker or him, or him and a safety or whatever it is. You can still create that one-on-one. So I like that ability. And, again, know what you have in the hand before you say, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Because there's a skill set there. You're already paying him. Why don't you utilize it?
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree. I think Swift is a valuable asset if you use him correctly. I think next year they need that bruiser.
Yes.
I don't think Roschon Johnson is that guy.
Nope.
No offense to him by any means. I know a lot of people are high on him. But what we've seen is a guy, especially when the game's on the line, 3rd and 1, 2nd and 1, these short yards, he's not falling forward, right? You look at David Montgomery, how he's been since he's been on Detroit. And when he was here in Chicago, he'd fall forward every time. He'd get 2 to 3 yards when you need it. And Roschon Johnson just hasn't done that. So nowadays everybody's seeing, okay, can I have that thunder and lightning like Tiki Barber and Rondane?
Like a Scatterboo?
Like a Scatterboo.
Like a Scatterboo. Ooh!
Or Ashton Genty.
Or an Ashton Genty.
Right? So I think that Swift needs that compliment with him. And I think that's what the Bears need to do this offseason, whether it's through free agency or the draft. Get that power back.
I just wanted on the record as far as knowing what you had. When they had David Montgomery, I knew what they had. So, DeAndre, you're paying him like a number 1 guy. I mean, that was at least the idea. Now, you could split up his 6 with another 6, and then which would be Saquon money. And if you did that right, okay. But
Saquon's not going to come to Chicago. The problem is also there's also a problem of you wanting these top guys. These top guys aren't just going to come to this city. Like, you're not going to get Saquon to come here because at this point in Saquon's career, he's made money. He wants to legacy.
Win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And what did he do this year? 2,000 yards. You wasn't going to do that here.
Yeah, no, he would not have done that here. He absolutely wouldn't have done it here. I completely agree. Now, he would have been a lot better than DeAndre Swift was here. And to your point, yes, you would have had to pay a massive Bears tax, and even then, I don't know if you would have gotten him. All fair points by 55. I dispute nothing of what you're saying on whether or not he would have come. Now, could they have gotten Derrick Henry and paid a little bit more?
Absolutely not. You had a better chance of getting Saquon than getting Derrick Henry, who's coming from Tennessee Titans team where he was lining up in I formation. And then you're going to ask him to line up in gun?
Fair too. I mean, as far as the fit. But look, the bottom line, the DeAndre Swift signing, if you could rewind back and do it again, you think that Ryan Poles does that again? I'm saying no. There's no way you're...
Does he sign Nate Davis? If he look back, does he sign a bunch of the offensive linemen? He's an offensive lineman.
It's not his worst. It definitely was. It's not his worst. That's fine.
No, but I think with the play calling early on, they didn't really utilize him
at all.
And then when did we see Caleb really start to come in his own? When they got Swift involved with some of these outside stretch zones, which he does very well. And then all of a sudden, they expanded the passing package. It takes the pressure off him. So there was a correlation when he started doing well.
And Corey, okay, so we were in a locker room where we had what was the young linebacker's name from Boise State?
Oh, Shea McClellan.
Shea McClellan. Okay, like when Shea McClellan was drafted. And he was brought in, there were a lot of head scratching. There's a lot of head scratching. We're like, we could have used this pick for a lot of things. We were able to use that pick because defensively we were in a place where we were like, hey, we can use this guy in this way because of the guys that we have. Correct. And that's a bunch of coaches that are together saying, okay, regardless if we have any control over this pick, we know how we can use this guy. Exactly. So when you sign a DeAndre Swift in that offensive room, I'm like, hey, how can we utilize this skill set to take advantage of any defenses that we come across, right? And let's do it. If we say we can do it, let's do it. There's a skill set he has that creates problems for defenses. Yeah. And this wasn't used that way.
And I don't think he was utilized enough in the pass game because I think that's what he did really well in Philly.
Yeah.
They didn't utilize him enough, and I think he's the best of both, right? He can get outside the tackle, and he has those matchups against a linebacker.
Yeah.
And sometimes it makes it tough. A quick, explosive guy, he gives you on a Texas route. He gives you some of these different routes. All of a sudden, he puts you in a blender, and it's tough sledding.
It's tough.
I'll say this, too. As far as his character in the locker room, DeAndre Swift, first class. Goes about his business. So there.
Carm's all about the locker room, guys.
I do. I care about
it. Is important.
Hey, listen, we need people to go about our business the right way.
We need a lot of things in Chicago.
Yes, we do. So players only, I want to go back to September 25th, 2011. You guys remember who you're all playing?
September 25th, 2011. Oh, man.
Was it similar to the play that just happened today?
It was similar to the play that just happened today. There was a Devin Hester acting like he was getting the football. There was a Johnny Knox streaking down the sidelines. You guys lost the football game, but you were playing the team that we were playing today. That was the Green Bay Packers.
Yes.
All right.
It was a legal play, though.
Yeah.
And it should have been a touchdown.
Should have been a touchdown.
Yes.
Now, they called the penalty on. No chance you remember that. I would think Corey Graham is who they was.
Corey Graham, Pro Bowler.
Now,
the humor.
Now,
what player?
Yeah.
Now, when Knox is coming down the field, my favorite part about this, unbelievable block. He had to be. It was one dude that was there, Winston Venable.
Boise State. Boise Stater. Yeah.
Who is now he is now a coach at Boise State, running back coach at Boise State for the record. Now, I'm as Karmapedia is going back in time, just reading about this play. Quote from Lance Briggs about Winston Venable. You are quoted about Winston Venable.
Really?
Yes.
Can't wait to hear past me. Younger version of me. What did I say?
Do you think you said something nice about Winston Venable? Or
let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. Typically, I say something nice. Typically, it's something respectable.
Lance Briggs was discussing the Bears' lack of consistency at the safety position in 2011.
Oh. So we're talking about Winston Venable.
Yeah. So between those guys and whoever gets back there and plays, even if it's Winston Venable, Lance Briggs once said, I know one thing that Winston's going to do. He's going to hit somebody.
Oh.
Damn right.
Remember in the preseason?
Yes.
Even in practice.
I
think he decapitated a couple people. They had to kick him out of practice.
Come on.
He was physical.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. In preseason, man, he was laying hits left and right.
It's hard. It would be hard pressed for you to find a line or an interview where I didn't say something at very least respectable.
Yeah, well,
at the very least respectable.
You're quoted. You're quoted in this. So, okay, I mean, Woot, do you remember the play?
Yeah, I remember that play. Devin Hester standing on the left side of the field.
That's right.
He comes up like he's going to catch the ball. All the eyes are on him. We knew based on that formation they were kicking it to the left side.
Right, correct.
Johnny Knox is there. All of a sudden, the play's working out. Everybody's parting like the Red Sea to Devin Hester. Johnny Knox catches it. We're like, we're on the sideline like, Go. We see the flag. We're like, oh, that's coming back. It's coming back at this point. And unfortunately, it was a phantom call. Should have never got called in that situation. But that was Dave Tobe's play.
It's great when you see plays like this because it means that special teams, that group, they're on top of it. They know, they're studying, they're breaking it down, and they're giving us an opportunity to win games, to put us in position to win games, to score. So it's cool. I saw some of this stuff in the college football playoff. I saw Notre Dame with their punt team on run off, run the other team on while Georgia runs on, they hard count them. Hard snap. It's just, you know what I mean? It's smart play.
Exactly.
So let me ask you guys something, because this is where I was confused. This season, at one point, like, you know, they were kind of like in the mix. I seem to remember a time they beat Jacksonville 35-14. They were 4-2. Yeah, the Commanders game, you could have busted out the old amazing fake punt. You had the Cardinals game, you could have busted it out. You had the line. We had to wait till today for the best special teams player of the year, Richard Hightower. People are like, Richard Hightower's trying to get a job. I'd almost fire him for waiting so long. He had such a good play. Why do we have to wait till now?
You know why, Carr.
No, I don't.
You know why? Because we were playing against backups on backups on backups. Come on, we were playing against the backups to the backups. You remember the replacements?
Why can't we?
You remember the replacements? We played. Keanu Reeves was out there, I think, and Gene Hackman.
I Will Survive.
Electric slide.
I mean, you couldn't score for weeks. Bust it out and again. I don't care if the regulars are playing. Try to do it. You think you waited today to get to the backup so you could put that on tape, his success thing?
Go out with a bang. I guess.
Richard Hightower, we love you, but you did us dirty holding that thing out. That should have been busted out when we needed a momentum changer. In Arizona,
the Commanders.
Yeah,
Arizona,
somewhere, anywhere
against
but
the
today.
ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
Other
please.
teams' ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. All right, hey, Lance, I'm curious on our players only here before you head off and hang out for 2 hours with Greg Braggs later today. I know you're super excited about it. What'd you think of the QB today?
Well, I'll tell you this, and we talked about this a little bit off the when we were watching the game. You know, look, this game, like we Ron Rivera would say this all the time, you know, and I repeated it, you know, numerous times on shows. You know, figures lie and liars figure. You know, the games, if you watch, look at the games where Caleb throws for the most yards, where it was like, oh man, I see the development happening. We get blown out more. The games where it's a lot closer, our offensive production is not great, you know, and so his numbers are way down, but we are playing closer. So what it says to me is we need to play better defense. We need to protect our defense. We need to be able to run the ball. We need to help our quarterback out by being able to run the ball and then being able to set up the pass from that.
Yep. You look at all these teams that are making a push. What do? They usually play good defense. They have a great running game. And what do? Protect the football.
Ben Johnson runs the ball.
Right?
He got 2,000-yard rushers.
Correct.
2,000-yard rushers, ladies and gentlemen.
And Jared Goff, right, he's very accurate, but sometimes he's not throwing for 400 yards every game like primetime Aaron Rodgers or Peyton Manning. The thing is, it's a balanced game, right? You keep people off balance. And we were talking about this. We're watching the game. How hard is it to defend a team when they are two-dimensional, right? They run the football down your throat, and then all of a sudden they work play action. You're like, oh, shoot.
Yes.
It is a tough thing going. So,
Corey, what Detroit does have, they, you know, regardless of what they have skill-wise, they have arguably the best offensive line in the NFL.
2 bookend tackles.
Yes.
And
Come on.
And Sewell and Decker, right, who are holding that down,
Yes.
building around there. The great 2 running backs. Obviously, David Montgomery's recovering from that knee injury, but their ability to run the game, give you the change of pace, give you the bruiser when you need to catch the ball in the backfield.
Yep.
It is a thing of beauty the way they run that offense.
We all silly like the mayor.